Data inconsistency is very high. That means you can have a redundant data or you can have a duplicate data. So you can expect more inconsistency in the file system. You can have a flexibility of communication. So communication through the internet is very flexible. You no need to travel anywhere. So wherever you are sitting, from there itself you can get done your work. What we are supposed to do with the existing one? So that will going to be thrown to the dustbins or will be thrown away, so that can cause some of the harms to the environment as well. Hello everybody, a warm welcome to one and all. Welcome back to the session 2 of the previous year question paper discussion of the April and May 2022 based on the scheme NEP CBCS of the subject called Fundamentals of Computer from the BCA's first semester. I am Rohini TS, Department of Computer Science, Vidhyaashram First Grade College, the Temple of Excellence, MYSURU. As we all know that in the last session of this question paper discussion, we have discussed regarding question number 1, 2. So in our today's session, we'll get into the question number 3 from part A. So here we have a question, differentiate the file system and DBMS, and this is for 8 marks. So here you have to write minimum 8 points regarding the difference between this file system and DBMS. So here we have a difference between file system and DBMS, which is more efficient, which is user friendly, and which will going to give more benefit for the purpose of storing and creating of the data. That is what we can expect in this file system and DBMS. We'll see the first one. File system is a software that manages and organizes the file in a storage medium, and it will going to show us how the data is stored and how do we retrieve it. That is what file system. Then why do we require this DBMS? That is database management system. It's a software application. It's a software application which is used in order to access, create and manage the databases. So here it is managing the databases, it is managing the files. And then the file system provides the details of data, representation and storage of the data, what this file comprises of and what is its location. But when it comes to the DBMS, there you can expect more abstractness. That means it will only shows us what is the essential part by hiding the background detail. That is what abstract view. That is what we can give or we can get it in this DBMS. So if you have this abstract view, then you can expect more security or privacy of the data, but that is not there in this file system. And it is storing and retrieving of data can't be done efficiently in a file system. But here we have a different methodology and we have a different methods in order to store and retrieve the data from DBMS. That is what more convenient and efficient than this file system. Which is the next difference, it does not offer data recovery processor. Something went wrong with the file system, there you can't expect or there you can't have this any data recovery processes. But when it comes to the DBMS, there we have a backup recovery for a data in the DBMS. After this, the file system does not have a crash recovery mechanism. The data will going to be stored in a one place, so you can't have a copy of it, so you can't get the crash recovery mechanism, or you can't have this, or we don't have this content in the file system. But in this DBMS, it provides a crash recovery mechanism. That is the more advantage. So protecting a file system is very difficult here. Why? Because here we don't have any abstract view. It is giving all the content to the user. So that can be misused. So in this DBMS, it's offer a good protection mechanism in order to hold the confidential data. What is the next difference here? Data inconsistency is very high. That means you can have a redundant data or you can have a duplicate data. So you can expect more inconsistency in the file system, but here the consistency is very high. That's why inconsistency is low in a database management system. What is the next difference? The file system offers lesser security. As we all already know that we don't have any abstract view in the file system, that's why it will provide less security, but this DBMS will going to offer a high security for the data and database what and all we have in that DBMS. After that, the file system allows you to store the data as isolated data files and entities. So here, store the data as well as the defined constraint and interrelation. How the data must be, what must be the standards, what should be the set of rules and regulation to be followed in order to access the content or in order to store the content. Everything is there in the DBMS. That is what we can expect, more consistency in the DBMS than in the file system. These are the difference. After this, it will not going to provide support for complicated transaction. So you can't do any complicated transaction in the file system, but mainly we are going to use this DBMS in order to implement the complicated transaction itself. After this, the centralization process is hard in the file management system. It has to take authority and should control all the activities of a file system. That is somehow difficult in file system, but when it comes to the DBMS, it's very easy in order to achieve that centralization in the DBMS system. After that, it does not provide or offers any backup or recovery of the data if something went wrong or if the data is lost. But you can get the backup and recovery of the data even if it is lost in the DBMS. Why? Because we are storing this data in more than one server. So it will going to give the content which is already lost. So there is no efficient query processing in the file system for the searching or to improve the efficiency. There you can't expect more efficient processing way of having the data in the file system. But here we have a query data in a database using SQL language. That is what structured query language we have. With the help of that, we are communicating to the DBMS. That is why it is very easy. This system does not offer concurrency. That means what? You can't access the same content at the same time. Simultaneously, you can't access the same content by more than one people. That is what concurrency. But that is not there in this file system. But we can have that concurrency in the DBMS system. So these are the main difference between the file system and DBMS. Out of this, you can write any 8 points. Let me go to the next question. That is what question number 2 of A itself. Define SQL. Explain different data types used in the SQL. So you easily find out, you can easily understand. Define SQL is for 1 mark and remaining question will be for 6 marks. Totally it will be for 7 marks. So we'll see the definition of SQL now. SQL stands for Structured Query Language. So in the difference itself we got SQL. That is what we are going to use, that query language, in order to communicate to a database. This is what SQL standard or abbreviation of SQL here. So this SQL will going to let us access and manipulate the database, and we are using this SQL as a standard for the American National Standard Institute, that is ANSI, in the year 1986, and it becomes the standard in the year 1987 to the International Organization for Standardization, that is what ISO. And this SQL or a structured query language will going to enable the user in order to create, read, update as well as delete the relational databases and tables in the database. That is what will going to be benefit from this structured query language. Then what are the different data types we have? What kind of data it was going to hold? So when it comes to the data types, here it will be classified into 3 types. We have a string data types, numeric data types. If it is a string, that is related to what? Characters and collection of characters. And if it is a numeric data type, it is dealing with the numbers. So you can have a tiny number, integer, float and double. All kind of data which related to the numerics comes under this category. And also we have a date and time data types. So these are the different kinds of data types which comes in SQL data types. So here we can see we have a string data type. There you can have a char of size in order to store the small amount of data, like which is consisting of numbers, letters or any symbols. So special characters or any of the numbers between 0 to 9 combination, everything can be displayed or can be used with the help of this char of size. So here it will going to hold up to 255 character. And also we have a varchar of size. Varchar of size, there also we have to mention the size up to 65,535 character it is able to hold, and it can be any letter, special character, number as well. And also here we have a binary. So binary, it will going to store the binary string. or it is size parameter specifies the column length in the bytes. So by default it will going to allow 1 byte. So if you want, you can take more than that also. And also here we have a var binary. Somehow it is like a varchar itself, but it will going to store the binary byte string. Which represents the column. By default this is also what 1, and here in the size we are going to specify the maximum size or maximum column length in the bytes. So if I have 5 column, then what is the number of bytes it will going to take? That is what we are going to mention here. And also we have a text of size. It holds the string that can contain the maximum length of 255 character. So these are the different data types which comes under string data type. Next we have a numeric data type in order to work with the numbers. So there we have a bit, it contains 0, 1 or null, and also we have a tiny int. It allows the whole number from 0 to 255. So all these kind of data type has its own specific number, maximum number. Up to that number it is able to hold, or up to that maximum character, all these are able to hold. And also we have a small int here, and int, big int, and L float, and also we have a real in order to store the double values. So there we have this real. If you wanted to have an exponent value and all, so at that time we are going to use this real data types, which comes under numeric data type. So here you can see the date and time data types. So the first we have a time here that will going to give you the hours, minutes as well as the seconds. And also we have a date data type here that will gives year in the 4 character and month followed by the date. And also we have small date time. So when it is a combination of date and time, so here you can see we have both the year as well as the timing. That means we are going to get both the date and time. What about this date time? This date time is also going to give us what date as well as the time itself. So these are the different format which you can use as per your requirement. And also we have a date time 2. So here we have date time 2, that is just a extended version of this date time. So here you can get more values than the previous one. And also we have a date time offset, that is also the enhanced version of this date time 2. So here you will get the date as well as hour, minutes, seconds, and it will be in the nanosecond. So you can see the examples or its range from the date and time data types of the SQL. This is regarding what data types which we are going to use in the SQL. Let me move to the next question. We'll have the next question here, that is question number B from 3. List the advantages of internet, and this is for 7 marks. So here you just mention what is internet and list what are its advantages. So when it comes to the internet, it's a system that interconnects the different computer system across the world in order to have a communication, or in order to have a interconnection between the different computers over all the world. Then we have this internet. And it uses the internet protocol suite to link the devices located in the different corners of the world. With the help of this internet suite or internet protocol suite, it is having a communication or interconnection between the different computer across the world. So now we'll see what are the advantages of this internet now. So mainly accessibility. So you can access anytime 24/7. It won't say today's Monday you can't access it. It's 10 p.m. you can't access it. It's a global service and can be accessible by everyone, irrespective of time, date, and also the location. What is the next advantage here? That is easy to use. So you doesn't require any special training in order to use the internet. It is moreover user friendly, so it will be very easy to use, very simple. So it will be one of the biggest advantage. And also, what is the next advantage? Interaction with other media. So with the help of this internet, you can have a collaboration with other social media or any of the media. So with the help, for example, news and other magazines, publishing houses have extended their business with the help of internet service. So if you are running any of the business, you can expand your business by advertising in the social media. That is with the help of this internet itself. That is what the interaction with other media, and it is is of low cost. You no need to spend much in order to have an internet connection. So that is what one of the advantage. And extension of existing IT technology. With the help of internet, you can be able to extend the network, and also you can able to extend the existing IT technology by sharing the IT technology by multiple users in the organization, and even it will facilitate the other trading partners to use the same thing. So you can content can be shared globally. That is why it is extending the existing IT technology. And also you can have a flexibility of communication. So communication through the internet is very flexible. You no need to travel anywhere. So wherever you are sitting, from there itself you can get done your work. That is what main advantage. And also you can expect the security in the internet itself has a certain extent help the security system both at the individual and national level with components like you can have a CCTV camera and its server balance. You no need to have any footsteps in order to get the content. So you can have a secure transaction with the help of this internet. That means the sharing of data is taking place very simultaneously, very rapidly. So that is how somehow will going to improve or will going to increase the security. So these are the different advantages with the help of this. With the help of internet itself, we are using World Wide Web, and we have a email, we have a file transfer protocol, and we have telnet and internet relay chat, and also we have a World Wide Web. These are the different application which comes under this internet as well. We'll move to the next question. Question number B. In that we have a second sub question. Define the followings. So when it comes to the 8 marks, easily you all can predict that each question carries 2 marks. So each question carries 2 marks. For 2 marks, how much you are supposed to write? That you write. So we'll see the first question here. A, that is HTML. HTML abbreviated as what? Hypertext Markup Language. Then why do we require this HTML? To create a web pages. For that reason, we have this HTML. It will going to describe the structure of a web page, how the web page should be, what must be the content, how must be the content, and its alignment. Every structure of a web pages will going to be defined by this HTML. And also it will going to have a certain, or it will going to have a series of elements. It has a heading tag, and it will going to contain open and closing of some tags. So with the help of this HTML, it can have any series of elements, and this elements will going to tell the browser how to display the content, how the content should be. Everything will going to be defined with the help of this element. So you can have a forms, tables, and certain background color. Everything can be given to the web pages with the help of this HTML. Let me move to the next question, that is URL. URL in the sense what? Uniform Resource Locator, and also this is a unique identifier used to locate the resource on the internet. This is like a home address. We have a door number, right? With the help of that door number, we are identifying the uniqueness of each home. Same way, this URL is what? We also call this as a web address. So where do we have a resource? The location of that resource will be given by with the help of this URL, and also it consists of multiple parts by having a protocol, whether it is HTTP or HTTPS, and also we have a domain name. This protocol and domain name will going to tell the web browser how and where to retrieve a resource. So with the help of this uniform resource locator or a unique identifier, or by this web address, we are able to find the resources from the internet. This is what regarding URL. What is the next one? We have a TCL. TCL comes under what? It is a transaction control language. In order to control the transaction or set of special operation which is taking place in the DBMS, in order to control all those, we have this transaction control language. It's a special set of commands that deals with the transaction within the database. This is one of the main advantage, and also it will be able to maintain the consistency of the database. So whenever we are having a control over the transaction, like whether we are updating, creating, all these are transaction. So when we have a control over all those things, you can expect more consistency. The comments like commit, roll back, and also we have save point. So these are the commands which comes under this TCL commands. So here we have a commit, rollback, save point. Commit is like control yes, save. Rollback is undo, or you are just doing control Z. That is what rollback. And also we have a save point. The commands which comes under TCLs are these three. This much of content is enough for this TCL. We'll move to the next question, that is DML, data manipulation language. If you wanted to manipulate the content of a database, then we have this DML or a data manipulation language. It's in the structured query language, change the data present in the SQL database. So manipulation in the sense what we are changing its content. Then how do we do it? So you can easily store, you can modify, update, and also you can delete the existing records from the database by making use of this DML commands. And which are the commands comes under this DML? So here remember it as a SUDI, S-U-D-I. How do you remember the DML commands? SUDI, that means select, update, delete and insert. So these are the commands which comes under this DML. Then how do you remember DDL commands? Remember that as a CAD, that is create, alter, drop. These are the DDL command. Okay, so in this way you need to remember the content. All these are regarding what? Part A. We are done with the part A. I hope you all understood. Let me move to the part B. So in the part B, we are done with part A. There you are going to get 45 marks. So we are left out with another 15 marks. Then how the marks distribution? That is what we have part B here. So here we have only 5 questions. Out of that 5 questions, you need to answer any 3 questions. So it is of what? 3 into 5, 15 marks. We'll see the first question. In that question number 4, A. What is that? What is computer? Explain the advantages and disadvantages of the computer. Easily you can say the marks distribution. What is computer is 1 mark and its advantage and disadvantage is for another 2 marks each. We'll see the answer. So then you need to write the definition of a computer here. It's an electronic machine that can store, recall and process the data. It can be perform the task or complex calculation according to a set of instructions or program. Write the definition of a computer. Now we'll see what are the advantages of computer. Mainly multitasking. My computer does not meant for single program or does not meant for single task. So you can perform more than one task with the help of this computer. So you can listen to the music, you can give it for print, you can use with a paint or you can use with a Word document as well. That is what? Multitasking. And speed. So you can process the data, large amount or bulk amount of data within a second itself. The speed is one of the biggest advantage of this computer. Next we have a cost or stores the use. That means in order to store the bulk amount of data, computer is well worth, and also this is not so costly. In order to hold that large amount of data, it is very affordable, and also you can expect more accuracy. So human can make mistake, but computer as per the instruction it will work on. So you can expect more calculation or more accuracy in the calculation from the computer, and also you can expect the data security. So protecting digital data is understood as a data security here. So you can expect data security in the computer, and this is the task completer. So though you can't do the operation, though you are not able to perform the operation, this computer surely will going to do the task for you. That means it is well versed with all the kind of task. So will be considered as what? Task completer. And also here we have a communication as an advantage in the computer. So with the help of this computer, you can communicate with the other devices. So these are the advantage. Along with that, productivity will going to be automatically doubled or increases with the help of this computer, and also it will going to reduces the workload. So anyway, computers are versatile in nature and it won't get bored of doing a same kind of task again and again. So it is very reduce the workload, and also we can trust it. That means reliability will going to be very high with respect to this computer. Though it is doing the repetitive task, it will not going to harm any of the content. So everything will be efficient as well. And also mainly storage purpose, you can store bulk amount of data with the help of this computer. So these are the advantages. Then what about disadvantage here? So it can be what exposed to virus and hacking attacks. So some of the illegal activities taking in place, so that what we are getting this virus and hacking attacks as a disadvantage. And also you can have some online cyber crimes. So if you have internet and computer system, with the help of all those things, they are misusing the content. So you can expect online cyber crimes, which they are committing some of the crimes with the help of this computer and its networks. That is one of the disadvantage. So reduction of employed opportunity. A computer can replace 4 employments, correct? That is what it will going to reduce the employment opportunity. That is one of the disadvantage. And also high cost. Somehow if you wanted to have a highly configured computer system, so you need to buy more expensive one. So it will more going to be high cost. And also distraction or disruption. So if you are keep on browsing, or if you are keep on rolling the or scrolling the content, that's how somehow will going to create some disruptions or distractions to you. And also it will going to increase the waste and impacts the environment. So daily we are getting more updated version, more updated machines. So what we are supposed to do with the existing one? So that will going to be thrown to the dustbins or will be thrown away. So that can may cause some of the harms to the environment as well. And also you can expect some of the health problems from the computer. If you keep on working, you may experience back pain or some of the eye diseases and what weakness in the nerves, everything, some kind of diseases or health problems can arise from this computer system. So these are the advantages, disadvantages, as well as the definition of computer. Let me move to the next question. Convert the following. So here we have it for 5 marks. So you can easily say that first one is for 2.5 and another one is for 2.5. So here what is the first question? 275 base 10. So base 10 is what? Decimal number system that needs to be converted into binary. So we'll do it now. So here we have 275, write it as it is and start dividing it by 2. Okay. So here 2 ones are 2, 2 3s are 6, we are left out with 1. Now it become 15. So take it, 2 7s are 14, remainder is 1. Next, 2 6 are 12 together, remainder will be 1. Now it become 17. So make it 2 8s are 16, remainder is 1. Then 2 3s are 6, 2 4s are 8, remainder is 0. And then 2 1s are 2, it become 14, 2 7s are 14, remainder is 0. So 17 2s are 34. Then 2 8s are 16, remainder is 1. And we can divide this 8, 2 4s are 8, remainder is 0. And here we have a 2 2s are 4, remainder is 0. Then 2 1s are 2, remainder is 0. I can't divide 1 by 2. So now 2 zeros is 0 and remainder will be this one. So when we found 0 at quotient place, at that time we should stop dividing. So you should write from here to here. What is the answer? 1 0 0 0 1 0 0 1 1 of base 2. So how do you get to know the accuracy of your answer here? Already you know 8421 format. So 1 2 4 8 16 double 32, then 64 128 256. Just add wherever we have 1, just add there 256 plus 16 plus 2 plus 1. So we are going to get 275. That means our answer is correct. This is how we can cross verify. We'll move to the next question. So here we have a octal number, that is 37, that should be converted into binary. If it is binary, the answer consists only 0 and 1. So we'll start converting here. First write 3 and 7. What is the octal equivalent of 3? So we know 4 to 1 format. 4 plus 1, 2, 6, 6 plus 1, 7. Write the equivalent of this 3. By adding which and which number I can get 3? By adding 2 and 1 I can get 3. Remaining 4 will be 0. And for this 7 I need to add all the numbers. So I will take 111 here and combine all together. Write the value 0, 1, 1 and these 1, 1, 1. Write the base as 2. That means we have converted octal number to binary number here. In the same way, you can expect some of the other question from the conversion. Okay. Fine. This is regarding question number 2. After this, here we have a question number C. That is, write the functions of an operating system. Simply they are asking what are the functions of an operating system. When it comes to the operating system, you need to study definition of operating system, functions and its types. So those three are the important concepts with respect to OS or operating system. So then what are the functions we have? It is able to perform memory management, process management, device management, file, protection and security, and also user interface or command interpreter. These are the operations. So here you can see when it comes to the memory management, what are the activities it is performing? It will going to able to allocate the memory, deallocate or free the memory and reallocate the memory which is there in the resource pool and keep track of the memory usage. Main operating system is what? That is what controlling and coordinating the resources of a computer system. So its maintenance is also important. That is what will going to be done by the operating system. So here we have a process management. So under the process management, it can have a control access to shared resources like file, memory, input, output and as well as the CPU. What are the processes taking place, how it is performing its scheduling and what the starting of process, ending of process, everything will be done by OS itself, and control the execution of application, create, execute and delete a process, or else it can cancel or resume the process, and also it is able to schedule a process. Then which process has to come after which process, that is what scheduling of a process, and synchronization, communication and deadlock handling for the processes, that is also going to be maintained and managed by this operating system. Next we have a device management, that is regarding what hardware components here, opening and closing and writing the drivers, and also we have a communication control and monitor the device drivers. So if something went wrong with the hardware components, that will just going to be notified by this operating system. So when we are plugging in the memory card or any of the pen drive to the computer system, there it will going to show a notification like new device found. That is because of this operating system. Next we have a file management. The activities with respect to the file is going to be maintained by this operating system. It is able to create, delete both the file as well as the directory, and it provides the access to the files, allocate the space for the files and keep backup of files, as well as it provides the security to the file. These are the operations. So next we have a protection and security. For the purpose of protection and security to the all the resources of a computer system will be given by this operating system itself, and user authentication, file attributes like reading, writing, encryption and backupping of the data are used by the operating system, which will going to provide the basic protection. It won't accept any unauthenticated or unauthorized in order to access the resource of a computer system. At last we have user interface or command interpreter. This is what operating system provides an interface between the user and the computer hardware. It is working as a middle layer between the hardware as well as to the users. So it will act as a interface between them, and also user interface is a set of commands or a graphical user interface via which the user can interact with the application and the hardware. That is what we are getting, or we are accessing the resource of a computer. It's all just because of this operating system. Without this, computer is just a dumb machine. So these are the operation which is going to be performed by this operating system. I hope I made it clear. We'll move to the next question. Differentiate RAM and ROM. Again, it for 5 marks. So you need to write minimum 5 points regarding RAM and ROM. So here RAM stands for what? Random access memory. Then what is ROM? Read only memory. And then this RAM allows computer to read the data quickly to run the application. RAM is somehow more efficient and it is very fast. When it comes to the ROM, that stores the program required to initially boot the computer. So this ROM will going to load the program which is necessary for the purpose of booting. That means loading the operating system into computer system is booting. That booting content will be there in this ROM or a read-only memory. And this RAM is volatile in nature. So this RAM is volatile in nature. That means if power went off or power supplies goes off, at the time whatever the content we have in a RAM, everything will just going to be flushed off. But this ROM is non-volatile in nature. Read-only memory is non-volatile in nature. Though power supply is not there, though it will going to hold the data and information. And what are the operation we can perform in RAM? So it allows reading and writing. Both operation can be takes place in RAM, but as the name indicates, ROM, read only. So it allows only reading. Writing can't be performed more than once. Only once you can write, but you can read the content again and again. That is what ROM. And then in the RAM we have two types, that is static RAM and dynamic RAM. Then what about the types of ROM? So here we have PROM, that is programmable read-only memory, and here erasable programmable read-only memory, electrically erasable programmable read-only memory. So these are the difference between the RAM as well as ROM. Let me go to the last question, that is write a note on browser with example. So why do we require browser? Browser is an application or it's a application software for accessing the website with the help of Google Chrome, Safari, Firefox. We're all accessing the content from the browser. That means we are all accessing the content from website. In order to do that, we require this web browser. So when a user requests a web page from a particular website, the browser will going to retrieve its file from the web server and then display the page on the user screen. It is just acting as what? Traveler. It is going and fetching all the data what we are seeking for. That can be done by this web browser, and it can be used with a mobile, desktop, or any of the laptops, palm tops. So it will going to be support for all the kind of devices here, and more commonly used and most commonly used is Google Chrome. So as per the survey, 65% of the global market or global people are using this Google Chrome for the purpose of browsing, and we have a Safari that is of 18%. And also we call this browser as a user agents. Why? Because it is fetching the content from the website what we are seeking for. That is what web browser here. The main purpose of a web browser is to fetch the content from World Wide Web or from the local storage and display it on the user screen. So in order to fetch the content, it requires the URL or Uniform Resource Locator. Already you knew about it. With the help of it, it is fetching the content and displaying it on the user screen. And also here you can see some of the element of a web browser that comprises of user interface. You can have a user interface here, and also we have a browser engine for it, and rendering engine. We have a networking, UI backend, JavaScript interpreter, and also we have a data persistence. So these are the components or element which is going to make this web browser more efficient, functionable application. And also here we have some of the features of web browser that includes what home button, address bar is there, and we can have a refresh button, bookmarks is also there, and also you can have a tab browsing. That means you can have more than one tab. You can browse the content with the help of this browser. This is all regarding previous year question paper discussion. I hope I made it easy and clear for all of you. If you have any doubt, let me know in the comment section. All the very best for your examination. Do well. Come back to this video and let us know how was your examination. All the very best. Thank you. Let me meet you in the next session. Until that, keep learning, keep on growing. Thank you.